y'all have had the opportunity to meet Keion and Sandy in person. A lot of you are very familiar with them, but we are super excited for them to share their knowledge, tips and tricks, some scheduling tidbits with us today. And so I will kick it over to Keion and Sandy.
Hey everybody. We decided to share one office today for this, since we're kind of going to double team this one. I'm Sandy. I have been with the Virtual Learning Center since November of 22. Been with Centris for 16 plus years. My background is actually radiology. So when I'm asking all the nursing questions, it's really because I'm trying to learn. So y'all have been great with bearing with me. I actually hold two registries with radiology, diagnostic and mammography. And I worked with the radiology IS team for a number of years before coming over here. Um, so I am still learning all things nursing, and y'all have been wonderful, and I do appreciate all of it. So all of your patience. So that is who I am.
All right, everybody. My name's Keion Tanner. I just started here at the Virtual Learning Center at the beginning of the year. So January 1 is when I started. My background, I've kind of been everywhere. Started off pre-hospital, worked in the emergency department, OR. Most recently, I was in hyperbaric and wound care. And then came over here and started January 1st. So look forward to working with simulation. Let's see.
And we're going to pat ourselves on the back just a little bit, because I feel that we play a very good role or important role in healthcare education. But some of our responsibilities are we provide the technical support for all simulation operations. We provide the maintenance on the mannequins, the software, and the hardware, task trainers, and all the peripherals that are associated with all the mannequins. I do most of the scheduling, but Keion helps out if I'm overwhelmed, which that happens sometimes. We do set up the rooms with the appropriate mannequins that y'all requested for, the room monitors, the AV in the control room, along with the correct scenario selections on the laptops. And actually, one of the projects that Keion has worked on over the summer is now all of the mannequins, or most of the mannequins, I'll say, are hardwired in. So they are not losing connection like they were last year. And that's one of the things that we were really trying to get done. It took us a little while to get there with the IT department, but we finally got most of them done. But we also work with the SP, which is Specialized Patient Program. But we send out the scenarios and dates. They can volunteer for it. We had just deployed a new app, and we had a few to come in and sign up for it. And the more we got into the app, we found that it did not actually meet all of our needs. So I am actually trying to frantically go into Sign Up Genius and get everything updated and get all the dates sent out so that I can get signups for this fall semester. But we have about 13 volunteers that sign up, some more than others, and some just kind of drop out of the way, but they like to know about it in case they have something that comes up.
Go to the next slide. We also provide moulage or makeup for the mannequins to provide a more realistic look to wounds, or if they have any bruisings on them. The mannequins, they can give urine. We make the urine for the flashback, fake blood, and obviously, like I said, the bruising. And if doing any moulage yourself, please check with us before starting. Some of the makeup and things will get stained on the mannequins.
But we have a moulage room that you all have access to, and it has specialized makeup in there. And I know a lot of you use it. If there's anything else that you want to use that's not in there, just let us know so we can research it. Just don't bring something from home. But we also have, like IV arms and that kind of stuff. And if you need any help with any of that, we're here to help as well to learn how to set all that up.
Like I was saying, moulage is the French word for makeup. And the things that it helps in the simulation, it makes it look more realistic environment for the students, give you clinical clues to the students. Um, yeah, so trigger warning on the next slide. This is some of the things that we can do. So as you can see, we got open head wounds. I got a looks like a bloody arm there, and we also make the blood pools ourselves here at the simulation center. See, that one has the raccoon eyes.
We actually can have fun here sometimes. It's like playing some days. Y'all think it, we try and make it happen.
Here are some of the things that we have here at the facility. Um, so we have audio visual in 5 of our acute care rooms, 1 critical care room, a labor and delivery room, and then we also have a room that's set up like a apartment. We have an ambulance and helicopter bay. That's where usually our stop the bleed or disaster scenarios are set up. Um, 2 acute care rooms and 2 critical care rooms. The ED and triage bays in the back, they all don't have audio visual capabilities for them.
But we also have 2 exam rooms and a nursing station, and like a multi-patient use SIMS that is used a whole lot. We've actually moved or transitioned one of our exam rooms into a second apartment because that gets used a whole lot between CVCC and Central College. But we were able to get an adapter for our iPads so that we can stream everything into one of the debrief rooms. So they don't have to sit out at the nursing station and watch it on a small iPad. The students are actually able to see that now. We're hoping to get everything under audiovisual, hopefully sometime next year. I'm not sure that we have gotten all of the funding, but we're doing our best. So hopefully we won't have that problem. But we also have the types of mannequins that we have here. We have high fidelity, mid fidelity, low fidelity. Of course, our standardized patients that we've already talked about, the task trainers, and hopefully virtual reality is coming soon. And our standardized patients can give a whole lot better feedback to the patients, more so than what some of our mannequins can do. And the next slides are just kind of talking about what the difference in the fidelity of the mannequins are. And here's just some of the examples.
Yeah, so we have our Mama Natalie, which is there in the middle, that the young lady has is given like a birthing prompt. Granny Chase is our mannequin there with the gray hair. She's been through it, so if you see Granny Chase in the office, give her some love.
That's right.
We've got 3 IV arms, trach man, Chester chest, central line, and 2 TNCC mannequins.
And we did retire several of our higher fidelity mannequins when we got some new ones. So we actually use those as static mannequins as well when needed.
Some of the features for the high fidelity mannequins, they have chest rise and fall, blinking. You can check pulses, and they have radial pulses. You can check pedal pulses in them as well. I think some of them have femoral pulses as well. Heart, lung, and bowel sounds, you can all listen to that with a stethoscope. They all can be hooked to the patient monitor, and manual blood pressure cuffs can be taken on them. Breathing sounds, the breathing complications, you can do all that through the monitor computer, and the ability for the learners to demonstrate CPR. So one of our mannequins that you'll see here, you can actually give them a live shock with real electricity. So, and we use the LEAP software. And
but sometimes the students are saying that, you know, they hear the mechanics of the mannequin, and I mean they are machines. They're so there is a little area in the LEAP program that you can turn like some of their mechanics off so that you are able to hear that a little bit better. Just to give you a FYI for the future if they start complaining about it.
and so this is our SimMan 3G. So he's one of our more advanced mannequins that we have. You can do IVs in both his arms, central lines, blood draws, and dressing changes. He has the capability of doing having a seizure. He has cyanosis, a little light that shows up in his mouth that's supposed to show cyanosis, and pupillary responses. So you can shine a light and the pupils will respond to the light.
He's one of our older ones. He is not hardwired as of yet. We hope to get a port fixed on him so that he will be hardwired in the future. He and Sim Baby have not been able to be hardwired yet. Just an FYI.
And here are some a picture of some of our high fidelity mannequins. We've got Sim Junior, Sim Newbie, Sim Baby. All these of our nursing aides and Sim Mom. All of our nursing aides are gender fluid, so you can change their gender pretty easily. Just throw a wig on them, change the private parts, and you got you a male or a female, whichever one you need.
Sim Man's just a little bit harder because his stubble is on his face. When we first got him, I thought his face was dirty. So he takes a little bit of imagination, but the rest of them are pretty good. But yeah, we actually got 3 or 4 new nursing aides and then a new sim mom in 2023, early 2023, and I deployed them last summer and they've done very well.
Yep. So this is our nursing aide. We have a Caucasian and an African American nursing aide. You can do IVs in both of their arms, the central lines, fluids, meds, blood draw, and the dressing changes. You can have a stoma and you can irrigate it. You can do G tubes, feeding, irrigation, or meds, an NG tube insertion, suction, or meds. You can insert Foley's in these mannequins as well, and we can fill up the reservoir in the mannequin, and you can actually get urine flashback. You can have IM and sub-Q injections, and you can insert a trach. She has a little slit there in the throat to where you can insert a trach for dressing changes as well.
No, the new nursing aides were not able to put the Zoll to them, but on the monitors they actually have a makeshift Zoll, and we can show you how to make it to that.
Got a question from Brenda Yarber. Sim Newbie is hardwired. We do have him hardwired as well.
He's still working through the link box, but that's hardwired in.
This is our Sim Junior. He has seizures. You can do IV in his right arm. He has pulses in his left arms. You can insert the IO and NG into him. His eyes don't open. It's pretty much like almost like a static mannequin.
He's a little bit older, but he works really well. And he works through a link box as well that we're able to hardwire in. But he also works really well with a SimPad, which is kind of like their version of an iPad. So it has scenarios into the little SimPad for all kinds of things. They can still talk. You can pretty much run all your scenarios through it. Healthy patient is usually the best, but they work really well either by the laptop or SimPad, and any of them can be done that way if needed. And then here's some mom. They are birthing mannequins. We have an automatic and a manual delivery. Like I said, we got the second sim mom in 2023. They both have seizure properties, IVs, IVs ports in both arms, excuse me. Antepartum and postpartum models. They have done very well. We have babies with both of them that they can deliver. Sim mom, the old sim mom, she can actually work either in the labor and delivery room or in one of our other rooms because she has an external air compressor. So we can hook her up into either of those rooms, and the automatic sim mom has an internal compressor. So she has everything built right into her, and they work really well. Actually, the new sim mom, she does what? Shoulder dystocia, breech, and normal deliveries. FYI, sorry. And then our sim newbie, his special features are he has the cyanosis piece. If you want that when you're scheduling it, ask for it, because that's an extra piece that I add on to him. But he can seize, he has umbilical cord pulse and UVC access, and he has active movement. He also works off of an external compressor that we turn on, and his limbs move and that kind of stuff. His eyes don't open, but he is actually a pretty cool little dude. And we have Sim Baby. This is probably my favorite mannequin, just because he's the lightest of, well, the lightest movable one, really. And like I said, his port is broken, so we weren't able to hardwire him, but he still works off of Wi-Fi. But his special features are the oscillation features, retractions, fontanelles, pupillary light reflex, capillary refill, and seesaw respirations and retractions. I'm not sure if I typed that properly. But he does a whole lot. He's probably one of our mainstays. He travels well. He works off of a SimPad very well. And we like him. University of Lynchburg and Central College use him a lot for their ped sims. And he does do a whole lot. So hopefully not a whole lot of special features get used on him, but I think Central College is writing more and more into their program to use more of his special features, which is awesome. No, my favorite part is the scheduling.
This is like Sandy's baby, so
I might give it away. For the requests, here is what our homepage, where all of our little files live, our requests. I've put our webpage there so you can see what it is. And if you scroll to the bottom, that's where all of our forms live right now. I have a feeling they still will. But you can go to the next slide, and I've explained, I think, on the next one what all of them are for. But no, they're not. Starting this fall, at some point, you can go ahead, Heather, that's fine. I think starting this fall, we're going to transition to a new platform called Asana. And all class requests will have to come via this platform. So I won't be able to accept any more emails for classes for any reason, because they want to, it's a productivity type platform. So I have to let them know what I'm doing. The date will come to you. I'll send something out when we're actually transitioning over to that. We're still trying to figure out how to use it and get our forms uploaded.
Can I say
Keion's been
something?
working. Huh?
Yes, I was just gonna say it's not because we don't think that Sandy's doing her job. You made it sound like I think you're not doing your job.
Oh, no.
That's not it.
It's gonna go to everybody.
Right. So it's really Asana is a project management system, and we've been asked from a leadership standpoint above our departments to start incorporating Asana if we can, and we felt like this would be a good place for it to start with. And then the benefit to us and to you as well is that it's going to be basically the same form, but when you fill that out, it will come to us, we'll assign it, but then it'll always be around. So like, for instance, if Lori, I'm looking at your face. So if Lori schedules something and she schedules it a couple months in advance and it gets scheduled, but then she, Sandy's sick or something's happened, I can go back in and look at that exact piece of paper, and it's not in Sandy's email. It's not on a piece of paper on Sandy's desk that she prints out. It's in the system. All of us can access it really easily without having to struggle to find it. And then we can go back and say, okay, Laurie wanted this, this, and this, and yeah, that should be in the schedule, but it just gives us some checks and balances too. On your side, it shouldn't change a whole lot. It'll look very similar. We want to get it tied into the website, so you'll still go to the same place. But we've had, and this is, Sandy's trying to accommodate everyone that comes in, and we've done emails because she wants to be accommodating. But the problem with that is that sometimes an email will get sent, and then so I'll give you another example. We had an email for a class recently when Sandy was out unexpectedly for illness, and it had been an email, and it was just it was from professional development. I'm not pointing anybody out. A professional development practitioner had said, hey, we're going to have this class. These people from the unit want to use the class. I couldn't figure out who was running the class, so I had to call Sandy. Then once I got that, it was just, it took a lot of time. Whereas if we had it all in Asana or had it all in the system, we could have found it easier versus it being an email. So no problem. If you do an email, we'll just nicely remind you that we in our new form, but that should be rolling out this fall.
Right, right.
Don't
And
get mad at me.
and with Asana as well, like Joanna said, that nothing will change on the website once we get the forms uploaded there. But it does come back to us, and we have a team page on Asana, and the request comes through. Say if Sandy's out and I have to make a change to the class, I can type a note on that request, and Sandy will be able to look at that note.
And know why it
Underneath
got
and
changed.
know exactly what was going on and when I changed it, the date that I changed it. It will go straight to her. Well, it goes straight to the whole team. Anybody can see the changes that are made on the form.
Yeah, so we're trying to get all of that set up. I think we're going to do the utilization form that way and probably all of the request forms. So we're trying to get all that done. So just stay tuned for that date. But it should just be the same form for the most part. Y'all should not notice any difference. It'll be on our end, not yours.
Right. You guys don't need to sign up for an Asana account to fill out the forms.
Yeah. No, this has changed a little bit. This just came down the pike yesterday. And I thought we had changed the page, but that's okay. Our customers are Centra College, Centra College, University of Lynchburg, and CVCC. All of our classes are on a first come, first serve. For the most part, but we do reserve the right to remove classes around in order to get as many learners in here as possible. So say if somebody needed labor and delivery just for half a day and one of the other customers needed it for a full day, I may move, let you use SimMom, the old SimMom in one of the rooms because you need to have SimMom and SimNewbie, and it just doesn't make sense to try and move everything around. So I do try and do my best to give you that you need, but if I can't do it, then I just can't do it. And sometimes I do have to turn people away. But starting in August, this is going to be the new change. And Joanna will talk more about this as well, but we're going to go to a tiered scheduling system. So tier 1 will be for Centra CPD, Centra AHA, and Centra CMG, or really any of the Centra facilities that need like a yearly recurring class. But those dates will open for August 1st annually, and they're able to book for the entire following calendar year. Tier 2 will encompass Centra College, and their date will open September 9th. So I won't accept anything from Centra College until September 9th. And this is for the spring classes, for the spring semester. Tier 3 are the other schools that we work with in establishment partnerships with the organization. Their dates would open on September the 16th for the following semester. And what we're doing is we are following the transition to practice, I believe it is. We're following how they do things for the clinical scheduling. So we just thought we'd adapt the same format to help cut down on all the confusion or any confusion. But at this time, a lot of people have already scheduled out, and 2025 is getting full and is already full for some things. So we're going to do our best to honor all the classes that are already scheduled for the summer and fall of 2025 for pre-licensure. but we may have to make some changes, but I would contact anybody if the classes were affected. I don't think we'll have to do that, but just as an FYI. But we have not come up with a date yet for like when the cutoff or when the start date will be for the fall semester for the following year. But I will know that at a later time.
So guys, just to kind of give some more explanation, transition to practice, which is a department that is sort of a sister department with us. They work largely with the schools of nursing, and they have put this same process into place as far as their clinical schedule goes. So clinicals on the units, and students getting clinical time on the units. And so we decided it should be the exact same. So the difference is our tiering is different, right? So our tier 1 is really those annual classes that need to occur from a organizational standpoint, like our AHA classes, like our clinical professional development orientation classes, things like that. So if you do not know if you fit into this, please let us know, reach out to us and we'll let you know which tier you're in. The second tier is going to be Central College. And again, that date lines up with what they use for their transition to practice. So for the spring semester, it'll be September 9th. The reason we haven't come out with dates yet is because transition to practice hasn't come out with dates. So once they come out with dates for their next fall schedule, then I will have those dates for you because I want them to be the same. And then tier 3 are any schools with established partnerships with their organization. So for us, it's really University of Lynchburg and CVCC. As Sandy alluded, we are really looking at getting some of expanding and getting the construction and the hardware that we need to be able to open up more rooms. And I really am hopeful that in 2025, this is going to happen. I've been given some, good, good thoughts. It's not the right word. Some good direction that it's a probability. And so, I mean, it hasn't been approved yet. It probably won't get approved until the beginning of the year because that's when they approve the capital budget, but we are asking for it. We are pushing hard for it. So hopefully this won't be any kind of issues that you fall into, and we will do everything we can. As always, we've done a couple of different things too. I don't think that Sandy and Keion mentioned that we now have a mobile debriefing station, so we can do a debriefing somewhere else. So we can set up chairs in a room if we need to, and we don't have a debrief room. So we're trying to think of new and innovative ways to accommodate everyone as much as we can. So you have things that if you have questions or anything, just come and see us. If you have ideas of how we can make it a little bit better for you, again, please come see us. We are happy to help and to talk with you.
Yeah, when we made these slides, we didn't have the mobile debrief room. So as of right now, what we're doing is the AV department came in and they took one of our PCs that has a license on it. So you're able to project everything on a TV screen like what you would normally have in a room. It might be a little bit smaller. But we'll set up tables in the helicopter area with chairs and it'll be back in that area for right now. And I've actually got several classes scheduled because we had the rooms for them, just not a debrief room. So that's pretty exciting. We're trying to think outside the box to utilize every inch of space that we have. So, do we have any other slides or is that it? Oh. All right, now here's what the different forms are for. The calendar request is used when needing to request to schedule a simulation at the virtual learning center. That includes the rooms, mannequins, etc. I think the way the forms are set up now, that does not give you the option to choose like multiple dates. So a lot of people choose to put in each date. I mean, they'll select it multiple times and put multiple entries in. If it's just a few dates, just put all that in comments and I'll be able to see all of that. In comments, put any other needs that you may need. The classroom only request, that'll be used when you need to reserve a debrief room or large meeting room. Like if you just need a meeting or something where you don't need to use a mannequin, that's the one you'll use for that. The equipment loan request is used when someone needs to borrow any type of equipment that we have here, such as a mannequin, task trainer, anything like that that you need to take off site. Or even if you're taking it like over to Central College, if you'll fill one of those out, then we can have it ready for you. And we also have a sign out form in one of our moulage rooms. That way it keeps everybody accountable and we know where our equipment is. All right, I messed up here. I didn't put what this one is for. Can you pull? I can't remember what that, I think it's the Insight 2. It has something with Insight 2 in it. But this form is what if you need our team to create or deploy a simulation. It's used for the Insight 2s at the hospital. But it's usually a multi-team effort and done typically off-site. And I want to say these are usually can be done like within 6 weeks. So it's nothing that you can put in and expect it to be done like in a week or so. A lot of times the simulations have to be written up. They usually have multiple meetings with with the different teams involved, whether it's pediatrics, neuro, OB, anything like that, just to make sure that everything is in there, everything is the way it's supposed to be written, and it should be run the way it's supposed to be.
So that would be under the simulation activity request. That's what that form.
There you go. Sorry about that. But the utilization form, we also have that online. We also have paper copies here. But that's done when the simulations are complete. It's used in reporting the numbers of people that we have here and that we service each month. And like I said, it can be done online, or we do have the paper copies here at the Sim Center. We have a basket in our control room. And then we also have a basket right outside of mine and Keion's office. I think it sits on the counter right outside the restroom, really. But you can fill those out and they're a little bit different. We're not asking for like sim time anymore. It's more of just the total time that you're here.
Yeah, if you go to the next slide, you'll be able to see it.
Yeah. We worked on that just to try and get some things. Here's what the new one looks like. But it can be turned into one of us, and there's a little basket right beside the form that you can stick it in if you fill out the paper one. But it's just important so that we can keep track of the center usage just to prove that we are vital to the organization. But there's the link for that. And any of our links are homepage so that you can get to any of them, or just this link. Any of them can be saved to your laptop, so for easy access, so you don't have to go to the homepage all the time. If you're just going to use 2 of them, you can just save it to your laptop if you'd like. But the information that we ask for is the class name, the scenario, the date, start and end times, room preference, and this is when you're filling out for the room request. If you want multiple rooms, put that in there. What mannequins that you prefer. You may not always get that if somebody's already scheduled in there, but I'll do my best. Just put how many number of rooms that you need, number of debrief rooms needed, what supplies you need. If an SP is needed, put their arrival and departure times in there. I like to look for the facilitator name, so I'd like that on there. And just keep in mind that if you're not on our active faculty list, I cannot schedule your class. You have to have gone through the classes with Joanna in order to run a class here. And then I also like to know about how many number of students you're going to have. That way I know what size debrief room you might need.
All right. So some of the guidelines for our center use. On the day of a simulation, the mannequin, control station, and debrief rooms, we'll all set that up. By the time your simulation starts, or by the time you come in for your class, we'll have all that signed up. What you or the facilitator will be responsible for is actually setting up the simulation. So putting any equipment that you need in the room outside of our capital equipment, outside of the mannequin. So if you need like gauze or bandages or things like that, you'll be responsible for setting all that stuff up. Um, Equipment, disposable supplies. Clean up and powering off the simulation and the room monitor before you get ready to leave for the day. Shutting down the control station in the control room, returning all the equipment that you use back to its appropriate place, and making sure that the room is clean and ready for the next class to come in for the next day.
And one thing I'd like to put in there is if you can remember your class that you went through with Joanna, if you can just close out of the PCs instead of turning them all the way off, that would be wonderful. I know Centra at night pushes a lot of updates, even though we can update them. Of course, it just takes more time in the mornings, which is fine. That's what we've been doing on a lot of them. But if they can push the update, then it helps us set up things faster for you. But then our AV equipment and all that, a lot of times that company will ask for permission to come in. And if they were to need to make any changes or any updates or something like that, then everybody has to be out of the semi queue, which is how you view what's going on in your room. If anybody is signed into it, then they can't make those changes. So as long as you're signed out of the semi queue, then we're golden.
Cleaning up the mannequin, removing all the dressings and IVs or catheters that have been placed during your simulation. Clean off the area of the skin with Glugon and baby powder. Baby powder kind of helps adhere to that whatever sticky substance might be on the mannequin to help get it off of it. Please report any damages to me or Sandy or Herman.
Anybody on the
Yeah.
anybody you can find.
So that we don't, walk in and then it's like, oh man, the mannequin's broke.
Yeah, one of our mannequins right now, we don't have IV access on her at all. So
Um, so if you just take any of your soiled linen and replace it with clean bedding, towels, washcloths, whatever you might use. We have linen baskets outside the room, so you can just throw the dirty linen in those. All fluids in the mannequins in the reservoirs. Need you to dump all those out. Don't leave them in the mannequin overnight. Can damage the mannequin. So you'll clean those out with tap water and alcohol. And if you have any questions on how to do any of this, you can come see me or Sandy, and we'll help you out. Power off the mannequin and close down the mannequin computers. Well, like Sandy just said, she just wants you to just close the laptop so they can update if they need to. Close out semi-queue and the debrief rooms and the control room. So those are the computers that are using semi-queue are the computers that your class is watching the actual simulation on. They're not on the control PCs. Wipe down your mannequins with washcloth and soap and water, and then return all the equipment back to its appropriate spot. And like getting into this, you can go to the next slide, Helen. We really tried to kind of streamline the SP sign up process by using this SP app. But like I said, the more we went into it and tried to deep dive into it, we noticed that it just wasn't meeting what we needed it to do. We actually reached out to the people who made the app to ask if they can update it for us, and it's pretty much like what you got is what you got. So we'll be continuing with sign up genius for our SP signups. And I think
so you can strike out that last sentence. I was hoping.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Pretty excited for when we first got to playing around with it, but it's not going to work for us.
So I hope we have not bored y'all to tears.
Any questions on anything? Any comments?
First of all, y'all are not boring, and I'm sorry that I messed that up for you. I had one job and I didn't do it well, so I
You're
apologize.
fine, you're fine. And thank y'all for coming since you had to reschedule it.
Okay, so we see.
Sandy and Keion, I just had one addition. I know,
Uh-huh.
I know when you all need a Preston mannequin from us, if everybody could arrange if they needed that from you all, there've been a couple of times when if people need those, it's easy just to grab them because we keep them in our classroom. Um, I'm happy to share if I don't have a class going on, but I do have to account for those. So if everyone could arrange that through you all, that would be phenomenal.
Are those the small half ones?
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, I can add that onto our Asana form. So
Yeah, we'll include that.
yeah, we'll
Thank
include
you.
it on there.
Uh-huh. We may come to you and just get your verbiage that you want for that to make sure we got it the way you want it.
Okay.
Let's see. Brenda Yarber. So you want to have the cyanosis piece for all of your classes in 2025? We can do that.
Great. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, thank you guys. If you don't have any more questions.
Thank you, Sandy and Keion. You guys are amazing, and we can share these slides out. We can update them and share them out if anybody missed this or wants to keep this information as a resource. We can make that available to everyone. And our next Scrub Club in September will be from our CMG folks, so we're really excited about that. Y'all know how to reach Sandy and Keion, right? If you have any questions. They always make themselves available. And we thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Keion. Thank you, Sandy.
No
Thank
problem.
you.
Thank you.
Y'all have